hi everyone. My name is Ranya, and like Byron introduced me, I am the director of the Curbside Chronicle in Oklahoma City, and I also am the co-founder of something called Sasquatch Shaved Ice that just opened up this summer in the Plaza District. And so I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about both of those businesses and what kind of our mission and our hope in the community is with both of these. And then I think, I mean, Stacy touched upon this with hers, and then something that I think is a really powerful word in my own life is this idea of opportunity, and kind of opportunities that some of us are given, opportunities that some of us take, maybe opportunities that some of us miss in life. I think opportunity is a really powerful word, and unfortunately I also think that opportunity is not often a very fair word in the world that we live in. I think that oftentimes some of us are given or born into opportunities that are very different from other people's stories, and I think that can often kind of direct the way that our lives go to a large degree, and that's really personal to me in my life. Just small, I guess, to tell you a little bit about my background and then to talk more about the work that I do. I was adopted by my grandparents whenever I was in 4th grade, and that really changed the trajectory of my life, in my opinion. Up until that time, I was living with my mother, who had a severe drug addiction. She unfortunately lost that battle and passed away from an overdose a few years ago with that. But really for the beginning of my life until 4th grade when I was adopted, it was in and out of homeless shelters, including City Rescue Mission in Oklahoma City, a lot of transitional housing, that kind of stuff. And now doing the work that I do and getting to work with vendors and more adults who are experiencing homelessness in the community, whenever we talk about our lives together and we share stories, I see a lot of similarities, unfortunately, in the way that they grew up and the experiences that they had. And one of the biggest things that I think was missing, that fortunately I was able to get just by the grace of God, was this adoption, and was this opportunity that my grandparents gave me to really grow up in a financially stable and emotionally supportive environment, and they really took me out of kind of what I was experiencing as a young child, and they gave me a different path. And so I think that now that I'm older, I've been able to reflect more on that, and I think that is a guiding force in kind of the work that I pursue now. I didn't really understand it, I don't think, whenever I first got into starting Curbside and the work that I do, but after talking to so many individuals, I've been able to kind of reflect, and I think there is a personal narrative and journey there as well for myself. But yeah, so I guess the Curbside Chronicle, we're Oklahoma City's street paper, and so we are a magazine, and our mission is to employ people experiencing homelessness in Oklahoma City and to give them a more dignified way to earn an income. And so the idea of a street paper is not original. I'm not creative, I'm just a copycat. And so it's been around since the 1980s, and there are over 115 publications like ours worldwide. And we, my husband and I, when I say we, his name is Whitley O'Connor, we decided to start Curbside in OKC because we saw the impact it was having in Nashville specifically. They have a street paper there, and the way the community was addressing the issue of homelessness, it just was very different than what we were seeing in Oklahoma City. And so one of those things is that it really, I can just click on this. Sorry, it really bothered us whenever we saw people panhandling in Oklahoma City. Flying a sign, holding a cardboard sign, asking people for money, however you want to define that. I think we all are accustomed to seeing that maybe downtown at busy intersections, and that really bothered us. And it didn't bother us because we didn't want to see people in that situation or because we thought it was a plight or anything like that. It was just hard to accept, I think, driving around, that there were people in our community that felt like that was their only option, that that was all they could do in that circumstance. And so whenever we were introduced to the idea of street papers in a more dignified way for a person to earn an income, that really stuck with us, in this idea of opportunity. People experience homelessness in our community for a wide variety of reasons, and there are many barriers, especially when you're living outside or in the shelter system, that make traditional employment not readily accessible, right? Whether that's just lack of access to hygiene or environmental factors when you're staying outside, whether if that's an incarceration record, which people are like was mentioned earlier, aren't often keen to give people second chances, which is very difficult, whether that's mental health or substance abuse. I mean, there's a wide variety. Transportation, our public bus system doesn't run on Sundays. I don't know if you guys knew that, but we're the largest city in the nation that does not have 7-day bus service as a community. And so there are real barriers that individuals face that make more traditional forms of employment often difficult or not readily accessible. And so with the street paper, our belief and our purpose is that we come alongside these individuals, and instead of saying, hey, here's this box and I expect you to fit into this box, and maybe it's not working, so you're out of luck, we say, no, we're gonna come alongside you, we're gonna figure out what your individual barriers are, we're gonna give you some skills and a tool for you to practice, you know, sales, customer service, money management, case management with a person who's advocating and trying to work on maybe bigger barriers you're facing. And then try and help you find success from there. And so our vendors, like Cowboy and like Kevin, they wear a uniform that says Curbside, and they sell our magazine around Oklahoma City on public property, downtown, on sidewalks and plaza, as well as on the sides of the roads, at intersections, at traffic lights, places where you would see people maybe panhandling, but they're selling you a product, and they're trying to work and they're trying to build skills to end their homelessness. And I get it, that is a new concept in Oklahoma that we brought here, but again, it was practiced all over the world, and that's how we got the idea to bring it here. And as a collective network, we employ about 22,000 people year-round with all of our papers combined. Right now, we employ about 50 people every month selling our magazine that are working, trying to end their homelessness. And then with that, there's obviously goals that we're trying to help people accomplish. One of which, the first of which, is housing, like Booker here. And so Booker is a vendor with the Curbside Chronicle, and for 13 years, Booker stayed in kind of this makeshift camp that you see right there. And we really work with a niche population of the homeless community. We're mainly working with chronic individuals at Curbside, people that have been homeless at least 3 years consecutively, if not many more. We have several vendors last year that had been street homeless for over 2 decades apiece, that we helped use the funds that they made from magazine sales to pursue housing. But that's our first goal with all of our vendors is, okay, so you're here, you have this product that you're selling, how can we use that to help you accomplish your goals and your future success? And for everyone, I mean, their first goal is housing, right? You need a house to have a launching point for what you want to succeed in the future. And so, so far this year, we have been able to move 20 of our vendors out of homelessness and into housing already. And so we're incredibly proud of our vendors for that. And then also after that, I mean, another goal of ours is more traditional employment. The goal isn't for someone to be with Curbside or selling our magazine forever, but it's a way to practice skills, tools, get into a stable environment, and then use that to transition into more traditional employment, oh, well, I think the computer died, but that's okay. Such as maintenance jobs, such as restaurant jobs, things like that. And then another thing that we really work on with our vendors is just life enriching opportunities, ways that we can have community together. We do community outings. We make sure people are working on paying off their fines and their tickets, which is a really big burden, like getting IDs, things like that. And so we really try and come alongside our vendors to move them forward and give them an opportunity, though, to help define that for themselves. And then also with that is our magazine. The tool that we use is a street paper, right? It's kind of like modern day newsboys or newsies. And so we have a monthly publication that we've grown a lot, which has been really great. Right now we have a circulation of around 10,500 magazines a month. And so that are being sold by our vendors. And then as well as having a tool and a product that they can sell so that it's an equal transaction. Whenever somebody's giving them money, they're giving them something of value and worth. It's also a platform for many of our vendors where they're sharing their stories and their ideas, their talents. It's a way for someone who maybe has never experienced homelessness. We all have thoughts. I mean, whenever we see someone down and out on their luck, I mean, we want to know how they got there, why they're there, what their story is. And this gives people a safe and comfortable environment to share that and to share that with our readers who have these questions that are buying the magazine when it might not always be appropriate to just ask someone their life story off the bat, you know? I mean, and so we've seen a ton of success from that, not just in vendors building confidence and getting to share and create. I mean, this is Gary, he's on the front with his dog Ace right there. Like there's a part of every single issue, but it also, I mean, just from the community, and I've gotten a lot of emails from people saying, you know, I used to be afraid of people who were homeless. I used to think they were unapproachable. I used to think I needed to ignore them or try and act like I didn't see them. But now that we have a tool and a way for people to feel comfortable engaging on both sides, that kind of wall that exists in our society is starting to crumble and break down. And that's really my favorite aspect of Curbside. Yes, the sales are wonderful and important, and that's how our vendors earn the income that they need to achieve their goals. But at the same time, 10,500 sales is also 10,500 interactions amongst two very different people in different walks of life, you could say, coming together to have a simple conversation and to meet and talk face to face. And that has been really powerful and beautiful in the sense of, you know, just recognizing people as humans, which we all are in this community, and that we have similarities, even though where we're living at night may look completely different at this moment. And so, and with that, like I said, we've been able to accomplish a lot. And so that's really kind of our goal is, whenever I talk about opportunity, I don't think the opportunity that we're creating is just for our vendors and our clients that we work with that are experiencing homelessness and trying to get out of that. I think the opportunity that we're creating with our street paper is, thank you, sorry, is an opportunity for the community as well, for everyday individuals to make small decisions that oftentimes maybe seem insignificant. You know, you could say, well, what is $2, you know, to one person for one magazine? You know, we can often kind of, I think, brush that stuff aside and try and minimize it, but I really think that there's power in community and this idea of collectiveness. And so like I said, these one individual sales, they add up, and to that's monumental. And I know homelessness is a big issue. Right now there are about 1,400 people experiencing homelessness in Oklahoma City, and so it can often seem like too big to tackle. It seems kind of like it paralyzes us, but I think it's really important that we bring that back to the humans, and that those are individuals, and that you end homelessness one person at a time. And yes, that problem might still be there the next day, but that means everything in that person's individual life to have that ended and to have a new story kind of beginning. And so that's really what we're about with Curbside, is this idea of, you know, having a product that our vendors sell for $2. We think it's worthy of the asking price. We're not trying, they're not soliciting, you know, with a little news pamphlet. It's something that they've created that they're proud of, a way that they can sell you something, earn money when you buy it to help them, but to then use that as a launching pad for future success. And so that we as a community also have the opportunity to kind of come alongside that and end homelessness just with simple everyday actions for individuals coming together. And so, sorry, I'm like flipping through this. And with that, sorry, that's like, just side note, that's Devontae, who's one of our downtown vendors, and a kid buying from him. But I just love it. Like, that's the interaction that I'm talking about. Most individuals wouldn't send their child out to go buy, you know, to go interact with someone just because of negative stereotypes that exist. But people feel safe and they feel comfortable, and our vendors feel safe and comfortable, and not like they have to minimize themselves anymore in the community. But yeah, we have a couple other things that our vendors sell. They have wrapping paper around the holidays, and we started doing flowers for Valentine's Day just to create further opportunity around the holidays. And then you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with what we're doing. And then kind of along the same vein is our work with Sasquatch shaved ice. And so this idea of opportunity, and I think providing opportunity for people who might not have it on their own at this moment, but how the community can engage with that, and it can be very powerful. I live in the Classenton-Penn neighborhood, which is directly south of the Plaza District. We're a predominantly low-income neighborhood. 66% of our neighbors are low-income. We're heavily a minority population. 73% of my neighbors belong to minority groups, whether they're Hispanic or African American or Vietnamese or Native American. And then 42% of my neighbors, adults, have not graduated high school. And so high school graduation is still a very big issue within our neighborhood. And so my husband and I were really drawn by this, and the fact that we got to know a lot of teens from our neighborhood. Many of them are going to be first-time high school graduates, many of them looking for employment, especially during the summer months, and in having a lack of transportation like we talked about, because whether they come from a low-income household or just that our bus system isn't as robust as it could be. And so we decided, hey, we're butted up right next to the Plaza District. This is a booming, developing district. How great would it be if our kids had a business that they could be a part of, but that was also specifically for them? And so we started Sasquatch Shaved Ice, which is a snow cone stand in the plaza, and it employs, like I said, low-income teens from our neighborhood. All of our kids are going to be first-time high school graduates for their families, which is really exciting, as well as hopefully first-time college graduates is what we're gearing them up for. And so we partnered with Oklahoma Employee Credit Union, which is a local bank, to provide financial literacy trainings to our kids. So we do that once a month. They get savings accounts, and they also get a checking account. Most of them, this is their first time having a bank account. And then so they're learning how to use those, how to access them. And then we actually use the profits from the stand that we make to match dollar for dollar what our kids save towards higher education. And so far, in our first year right now, our kids have saved over $2,500 so far, and they still have another year, if not more, depending on their age, to go with us. And so yeah, so this is the stand in Plaza, but like I said, like our mission is to create not just opportunity for them, but also to use business and this idea of sales, whether it's a magazine or whether it's a snow cone, to kind of fuel social good in our community. And so yeah, so that's a little bit about both of those two things, and you can also follow us at Sasquatch OKC. So thanks so much.